No, I'm not glad he turned it down because I always says, the next England manager, for me, I couldn't care less if they're born in England or they're born in, a different continent. It doesn't bother me. It's about who's going to bring our first trophy in 58 years. So if Jurgen Klopp was available, I would love him. My first choice would be Pep Guardiola. I just think he'd get so much out of these players. But if Klopp was available and wanted it, I think it would be silly for us to turn that choice down. I think it was the right time to leave Liverpool. I really do. He'd won the Champions League, he'd won the Premier League, he'd won numerous trophies. But I can just tell he's the sort of guy that's gonna retire in Mallorca like he's planning. But you get bored. You ask any manager who's in their late 50s, early 60s. Steve Bruce still trying to manage. Neil Warnock managed till late 60s, early 70s. So I just think that option hasn't gone. I really don't. And if we could put a package together and try and persuade Jurgen Klopp to take the England job, why not? Do you know what I mean? You'll show a lot more enthusiasm on the sideline than Gareth Southgate did with these players. And, I think he'd get more out of them. I think he'd probably look at the German league, but I think it's difficult because what does his wife say about this? They've built a lovely house in Mallorca. The newspapers say she might say no, retirement. We're happy here in Mallorca, Spain, the climate. But he might say, well, one more job. Can I go back to Borussia Dortmund? Can I go to another German team? Can I go to the German national team if they struggle during the World Cup qualifying? You never know. That if that job's on the table, then I'm sure he wouldn't turn down his country. But we're talking about this because he has come out, hasn't he, recently and said that it's not definite retirement. So, sometimes you can leave a big club. You've been out for 7-8 years in Liverpool and, you think that's it. I don't want to manage anyone else. But football can be life. Football is a lot of people's life across the world. You can retire after a year and think, all right, I'm bored of riding bicycles around Mallorca. I'm bored of the hot climate. I want to go back into management. Yeah, I think I've got to be fair. I've said it before and a bit tongue in cheek because he was at the latter stages of his career. I didn't play against the prime Gary Neville, so I have to be fair in that. When I played against him, he was probably mid-30s, I can imagine, early 30s, mid-30s, and he was that sort of defender that I would have loved to play against every week because he wasn't quick, he wasn't strong, and it was quite easy playing against him because I had him for strength. I could hold the ball up, turn, and just knock it past him. No skill was needed. The pace was obviously me being in my early 20s. So yeah, it was quite easy, but I could imagine any defender that's similar to Gary Neville's attributes in their mid-30s, I would have skinned. Do you know what I mean? So I have to be fair on that. His age was a factor, but obviously he had a fantastic career. I think it's a better team. I really do. I think they've proved that by getting Champions League that we struggled to get. We got 3 top 6 finishes. But I think I would make the team. I think I would make, because it's a front three, I think part of that front three I would make. I think Watkins down the middle. I think my second half of my career I played left wing. So I can imagine myself on the left, Watkins down the middle and Bailey on the right. I think Aston Villa have got very good options on the left, Jacob Ramsey, Rodgers. But I would say when I was at my best, I would have played before them. So I think I would have started on the left in this team. And the team I played with, I still think Gareth Barry gets in. I still think Petrov gets in. Ashley Young, there must be a space found for Ashley Young as well. So I think there will be more players in this team than there would be in my team, if that makes sense. If I'd done a best 11, but still, my team was a very good team to play. And you forget about Milner, the career James Milner had, Stuart Downing. I mean, there's some really good players, but this Villa team now, as a team last season, were the best team I've seen in the last 20, 30 years. My number one choice would be Pep Guardiola. I said this a couple of weeks ago. What I would do I would do an interim manager Lee Carsley. I would let him take the team for the next year. Then when Pep Guardiola leaves Manchester City, if he does in a year's time, I would bring Pep in, and I would have Lee Carsley as part of his coaching staff. That's the route I would do. I wouldn't rush into it now and give it to just anybody. I think Lee Carsley's a safe bet. Let him take this team into the qualifiers, and then we bring in the big boss, Pep Guardiola. Because I say Pep because he knows half of these players he's worked with. We talk about Cole Palmer, who's left, Foden, Walker, Stones, Grealish. You know, I'm probably missing more. You got so many players that, you know, Pep's gonna have known. And imagine Pep playing Trent as a right back coming into midfield, and I think he gets so much out of that group of players. And I think from speaking to people that know him, he does want to manage a national team. So all the people that say they think they know Pep and he can't manage a national team because he can't have them all the time, they don't know him, because he's done everything at club level. Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Manchester City. He's too young to retire. What better than finishing with winning a trophy with a national team? Add that to your CV. You probably go down as the best manager ever if you win a trophy with, say, Brazil or an England. I think it's natural as a footballer. I've been there, you know, sometimes you lose your head especially if the referee's in the wrong. You can't help yourself, you know, you take a yellow, you don't care. But sometimes when the referee's in the wrong and you see it, the referee's in the right and you see it, the player that stands out for me and I think will struggle with that is Bruno Fernandes. I think, you know, even as captain, I think he'll be getting booked left, right and centre. He can't help himself. He kicks the ball away, he throws his hands up. But I like it. But what I want to see is consistency. Say Bruno Fernandes does it and he gets booked. Does it again. Don't think, oh, I've got to send him off, I can't give a yellow. Throw another yellow at him and send him off. It will make these players learn. That's what they've got to do, you know, consistency. If it's 2 yellows for dissent, throw them yellows at them and send them off, because it will stop other players. And there's nothing more frustrating as a footballer knowing you can't go and have a go at the ref. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got so much anger to let out when you're losing and you're not getting a decision, or it's a petty foul the referees give. So if I'm the referees, use your cards as much as you can. Well, first of all, I think if I'm a player now, I'm not time wasting because it gets added on. So what's the point? You know, like if I was a player now, I'd be so frustrated looking at the clock and seeing 10 minutes added on. I'd be like, wow, that's because we were all time wasting. I think everyone's at it, you know, from players going to take a corner, for players going to take a throw-in, for players taking a free kick, taking the time and staying down longer, for fouls. So I want to say there's a standout player. I think all players are at it. You know, if I was a manager before they started adding it on, I would say to my players, come on, you're 2-1 up, take your time on the throw-ins, you know, get the towel. Yeah. Even on a summer's day, get the towel to open up. To wipe the ball, get the towel. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's not raining. I'll do everything in my power to time waste, and all you can do as the officials is add it on. Simple as that. Nothing else you can do. So I don't think there's a player that does it more than anyone else. I think all the players are at it. I would have rode a bike over there, 100%. Like, people talk about oh, how can you go? How can you do this? For what? For this reason? For that reason? Listen, in this world, we're not here for a long time. You know, make the most amount of money as you can. You know, you look at Kevin De Bruyne come out and said it. Yes, I want to go to Saudi. I could earn more in a year what I've earned in 5-6 years in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? So why not? You can go there and make generation money. Yeah. You know, your generation's for 50, 60 years will never be able to have to work again. Why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? Like, so people might say, oh, you shouldn't go to Saudi for this reason, for that reason. The people that are saying that, if they had the chance for their job, would be long gone. Let me tell you that now. So I would have jumped at a chance to go and earn the crazy money they're earning.